People are really surprised when they hear that I've been married going on 12 years. I'm 33 years old, was married when I was 22. It's funny. So and they ask me like, wow, you've been married so young, you did this so young. I mean, there's a lot of backstory there. Long story short, my wife and I were friends before we even dated. And if you want to call it dating, we weren't really dating. We were just fucking. And, it was a good time. And then we just, storybook style, just fell for each other. And next thing you know, we kind of got married, but we had known each other for some years before, that even happened. So a lot of the questions are, how do you do it? Because I see a lot of my friends who date for a really long time. They get married and then it's over in a blink of an eye. And, I have this conversation with people about what you need to do to be married. And I don't have a perfect marriage. My wife and I, we fight all the time, almost daily. But there are certain things that you need to understand going forward. There's certain sacrifices you need to make. There's certain contingencies you need to have. And there's just certain things that you have to bend on if you are to have a successful marriage. So this episode is how I've stayed married for 10 plus years. And I'm just going to go through my personal thing. Now, before you continue to listen, I'm not a professional. I don't have any degrees or anything like that. So if you're looking for like professional help, go see a therapist. I'm not your guy. However, I am a person with experience, and I am self-aware enough to know that I am not perfect. But if you need to hear it from a regular guy like me, then cool. This episode may be for you. So I make a joke about how there's really only 3 things at its core that you need to do consistently if you are to have a happy marriage. Now, it's not going to solve all of your problems. However, from when I talk to friends who are married or who have been married, a lot of their issues, even though I probably won't say it to their face at the time, I'm thinking to myself in their head, well, man, if it kind of did this, you'd probably still be married, or that, these situations that you get yourself into wouldn't evolve into this giant thing that you can't, it ends in a divorce or whatever. And unfortunately, sometimes there's kids involved and you get into all that nonsense. Obviously, marriage is not a game, right? You don't get married unless you truly, truly feel and have an understanding of you and your partner's desires and wants and all of those other things. Now, here's the 3 things. Here are the 3 tips, so you don't have to wait till the end of the episode, and then I'll dive deeper into some other things, some other observations that I have. Number 1. Now, so I'm sorry. Before I get into it, the 3 things you have to do, it's actually one thing you have to do together, and there's 2 things that the man should do and the woman should do separately, or because of your partner or for your partner. Now, number 1, for the men, do some dishes. I try to come up with a fancy, cute name for these things, but it whittles down to do the dishes. Now, the dishes aren't just simply the dishes, but it encompasses what women expect men to do around the house. My wife doesn't have to yell at me. 1, because I came from the military, and so I make sure things are clean anyway. Now, men, and some people who were brought up correctly, who know how to take care of their own household, who appreciate their stuff, will probably keep things clean anyway. But it's like a thing you see on TV. Oh, do the dishes. There was a movie with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, the breakup about that. And yeah, nobody likes doing the dishes, but men, your wife is going to complain about it. Do the dishes. Keep the house clean. Pick up after yourself. Little things like that goes a long way. You know why? Because you know what the number 1 thing women bitch at is that they have to clean up after you all the time. And you're already dealing with the stresses of life and work. And then when you come home, you expect peace and quiet. But if you don't do the dishes, you don't pick your wife spending all day picking up and cleaning up after you, and then she starts bitching at you, you know what you're going to do? You're going to snap on her, and then boom, your marriage is starting on a bad path, and you're probably going to get divorced. Now, number 2, women, for you got to put out. There's no fancy way to say it. On a regular basis, once a week, at least bare minimum once a week. If you give your husband some sort of the affection that you know he wants, you got to give up that ass once a week. You got to give up that mouth when it's that time. if that week falls on that time of the month for you. Let me tell you a secret, ladies. Don't tell the men I told you this, but I'm going to tell you a secret. There is virtually nothing you could do to make a man that mad that if he knows he's getting ass on the regular basis from you, more chances than not, he's not going to go out and look for it elsewhere. More chances than not, he's not going to complain when you have your little minor nagging and nuisances that you're bringing to him. More chances than not, he's going to be in a great fucking mood all the time. And then what that does, it trickles down to you, because when he's in a good mood, you're going to be in a good mood. And all these little bullshit problems you guys let fester, they don't really seem important. They probably don't even come up. You know why? Because the men are happy. And when men are happy, you know what else that does? That leads him to go do those damn dishes. That leads him to go do cleanup and do whatever pet project you have for him around the house. You know why? Because let's pick a day of the week, Sunday. Sunday's right around the corner. Those are my days. I do everything I need to do during the week because I love my Sundays. I can't wait for Sunday. Like the old car commercial. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I wake up like that. So, last thing. Number 3 on my list. Do things together. Whether that's, and it doesn't have to be every week or every day. At bare minimum once a month. It should be more, but whatever you guys can spare, whatever your limitations are, time, money, whatever. Do something together, preferably something that neither one of you has done before, or, just something new that you both can experience together. Now, it is okay. Hey, one time, like let's just do January, February, March, right? In January, you guys go do something the woman likes to do, something that she's interested in, a movie that she wants to see, or some type of adventure that she wants to go on, right? And in February, do the opposite. Do something that the man is interested in. Do something that he is like, oh, I want to try this out. And maybe you're not interested in it, but you're doing it together, so it doesn't matter. It could be fun for you, or he could make it fun for you. And then in March, do something you both haven't done before. Look around, to certain attractions around your town or whatever. Like I said, I'm not asking you guys to go to white water rafting or anything like that, unless that's something you want to do and that's available to you. That's cool. But it could be something as simple as one of those wine and painting classes, or make a day of it. Go check out this new antique store. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're doing it together. It goes a long way, because when you do those things, it creates something new. Like, that's a lot of problems. They get stagnant. But when you're looking forward to doing something together, it kind of helps not only just make the time go better, it just helps you guys learn each other more. And you're learning something together. And you're also educating your partner. And you do that stuff consistently. If you both like to fish and you go fishing once a month, I mean, that helps a lot. I know a lot of friends who have spouses that they both are into hunting, they're into fishing, they're into weightlifting, they're into a lot of things, and they do all that stuff together all the time. And I mean, they're unbelievably happy. So, in summary, men, wash the dishes. 2, women, give up that ass. 3, go do something together at least once a month. You do those 3 things consistently, and I promise you, if your marriage is not in a good place and you start this process, I guarantee you in 6 months, you'll notice a huge difference in your marriage. It'll eliminate some of those minor problems. If you guys have bigger problems, that's a little bit different. Go see a therapist, but I'm talking normalcies in marriage, marital quarrels that just pop up. I guarantee you that stuff will alleviate all of it. Almost all of it. Now, those things are out the way. Here's more of a deep dive. Just some quick hits for you, because I like to keep these podcasts relatively short. Know that you can't be everything to your spouse. You have to allow them some alone time. I make the joke all the time. The reason why my marriage is so successful is because I try to stay away from my wife as much as possible. Create that sense of missing. That's what people who get married, they want to spend all their damn time together, go on all these trips. They rush through these things in the first year of marriage. Marriage is a lifetime commitment. They have to have their own individual hobbies. You can't hover around them. You can't be every little thing to your spouse all the time. Let them be alone. They can regroup enjoy a hobby, read a book, whatever, hang out with their friends. Ooh, married people aren't allowed to have friends. When they greet you, hey, they'll be recharged and ready to enjoy their time with you. At the end of the day, they're always going to come home. I remember we were out at the bar one time and there were some husbands. My wife and her friend and some other spouse was up at the bar, and there were some dudes talking to her, and these guys wanted to get into a bar fight. Good old-fashioned fisticuffs and slobber knocker. And I said, hey, man, calm down. What do you think they're going to do? Leave with the dudes? Let them buy them a drink. Who cares? That's because their wife is always on their hip. They're always near each other. It's a bad thing. You have to allow them freedom. Now, if your wife is that type of person to fall for those juvenile tricks, then she probably ain't for you anyway. You messed up somewhere before that. So people who see their spouse as someone who they depend on for all their happiness are always going to run into trouble. You have to be satisfied with yourself. Have things that are your own. That way, you are just two complete people who complement each other and enhance, right? The problem is people try to find the missing piece and then they ignore, right? They look for that 1%, only to find out that other 99% is a piece of shit. And now they're dissatisfied when it doesn't work, and they're surprised when it doesn't work because they're not happy with themselves and there's something missing on themselves. And because they feel they have to be dependent on other people, they run into problems. Last thing I want to say before I close this episode is that your marriage is your marriage. No one else's. It took me and my wife a long time to kind of figure this out. Don't try to compare your marriage to other couples. Just because the Jones go on vacation every year, go out to the Bahamas, go out to Disney World every year, doesn't mean you have to. My wife and I take vacations together. Sometimes we take short solo vacations. Hey, she went back home to Jersey and she stayed there for 2 weeks to visit family and friends and all that stuff. And she had the kids with her because I couldn't take off because of work. And she was ready to cut. She's coming home days early because she misses your boy. It's okay to spend time apart and have separate interests. I run the network. I have graphic design stuff I do. I'm a firefighter. I have things that interest me. I do that when I'm away from her. But when we're together, we're together. We have our shows that we like to watch. We have our things we like to do. Understand that both of you will continue to grow and change as people. And you have to be willing to accept that your partner is going to grow and change. You are going to grow and change. It's okay that you're not the same exact person you are when you got married. But if you stick together and do the things that I talked about in this episode, your marriage will indeed last at least 10 plus years. Maybe. Thank you for listening. This is the MOLPRACTICE podcast. We are presented, as always, by the Give Us a Shot Network. Check us out at www.giveusashot.network, and I will talk to you next time.